Democrats, I got a little question for you, okay? And I really do want an answer. I want to talk about Taylor Swift and Robert De Niro and LeBron James and Jay-Z and Beyonce and Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Tom Hanks, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, the list can go on. George Soros, whatever you want to talk about. I want to talk about the over 90 business leaders in the United States that have overwhelming support for Kamala Harris. I want to talk about how Donald Trump did not receive a dime from a single Fortune 100 donor. I want to talk about how Donald Trump has been chewed up and spat out of Hollywood, out of Big Pharma, out of New York, out of Wall Street. I want to talk about all those things because what we see here, not by a study, not by a statistic or a graph, but we look outside our window and we see one candidate who has been rejected by the very system that you and I used to despise. The very system that has put us in boxes and told us to work until we die, that has told us to pay taxes until we can't breathe, that has told us to literally do everything for them while they don't even answer our phone calls when we have a request. Those same people are the ones that are backing Kamala Harris and trying to indict, prosecute, and convict, in all honesty, unalive Donald J. Trump. Now, rather than see that the Democrat and the Republican Party have never been different in the past, they both receive donor money from the same donors. They both receive hedged bets from Fortune 100 companies. They all shake hands behind closed curtains after they argue and yell at each other on the debate stage. That's been the case since you and I were born. The second Donald Trump showed up on the scene, that bipartisan funding from these elites stopped. And no more to the Republican Party and Donald Trump. The turning a blind eye to corruption in our politics stopped. Donald Trump is now a 34-count felon. And you guys, rather than look at the way the world's playing out and say, how is the system that I hate attacking this guy so severely if he didn't threaten their ecosystem? But rather than think through that logically, you've chosen to side with the Taylor Swifts, the LeBron James, the JP Morgan, the Wall Street, the Big Pharma, the Oprahs, the Ellens, the Hollywoods, the Universals. You chose to go over there and join them because they were so mad that Donald Trump was terrible. The same companies, the same CEOs that turned blind eyes to SA trafficking, to abuse of women in an industry, to P. Diddy, all of these people who have turned blind eyes for decades on crime, all of a sudden you think they care so much about Donald Trump's misallocation of funds, and they want to make sure he pays for that. You think they just had a come to Jesus moment and figured that out in the last 4 years. No. You are being insanely manipulated. I don't know what to say if you can't see it now. There's really not much I can do.
What's up? Good morning. Happy Monday, 511 family. Awesome to be here with you. And yeah, if you guys don't follow John Dawson, shout out online, TikTok, YouTube, guys, go check him out. Awesome man of God, great podcast and all of those things. But guys, this is talking about the media manipulation, the government corruption, and all of these things that have been pushing this leftist agenda against our families, against our children for a long time. But they want to tell you, the same people who show the left and the right, the uniparty system, we've been talking about that for a long time, uniparty system, they're the same. But Trump is an outlier. So, of course, they come against him. Of course, they try to take a stand against him. Guys, don't be deceived. Don't be fooled. We have a mission. We know the assignment. Come November, we have a big choice to make. And whether you choose to be silent or you choose to be heard will dictate the future that our children face. So, guys, we have an amazing show today planned out. We're going to be talking to amazing Kiki Fuchser. I hope I pronounced that last name right. With Blexit City Coordinator in Ohio, mother, Marine, wife, all things America. We're going to be talking about the left's evil agenda against our children, the things that they're pushing down our children's throats in the school system, And we're gonna bring some proof to you guys about where we stand. We know you guys agree with us, but we also know that there's a lot of people out there that you guys come into contact with every day that you need to be ready and prepared, as the Bible says, be prepared with an answer for any man who asks. So, guys, before we get started, wanted to give a quick shout out to one of our amazing sponsors. Darius, we got a video for Freedom 2.0. If you can roll that first, let's start there. So, guys, Freedom 2.0, you can go check them out online. We got a banner for them. Bring it up, Darius. You can use code 511. Go to freedom20.com for 15% off. Use code 511. These guys are fighting the same fight we're in, supporting the First Amendment freedoms, supporting our rights as parents, parental rights, and all of these things. So we want to continue to support the companies that support the mission that we're on as families, as God-fearing people. The left is going to continue to do their thing. Let's not support the companies that are actively fighting against us. Let's support the companies that are actively in the fight with us. Just like Covenant Coffee. Covenant Coffee has been one of the longest time sponsors here at 511 Media Group. Thank you, Covenant Coffee, for what you do here in Kern County, supporting the foster youth, the emancipated foster youth of Kern County, providing jobs and mentorship and a home for the disenfranchised, the people that don't have a voice, just like we do here at 511. And guys, if you're online, go check out Covenant Coffee, covenantcoffee.org. If you're in Bakersfield, go check them out across the street from us at Mohawk in California, or across town on North Chester. And we want to support the companies that are in the fight with us. And 511 isn't just a place where we do a bunch of talking and don't do things. We got a lot of things we're going to be rolling out here in the next 3 to 6 months. Some of the stuff that our team doesn't even know about yet, but we've been praying a lot. We've been working on a lot of things, and you're going to see some cool new things coming out. One of the things we have coming out is you guys can go check it out on our website. We have created an election strategy playbook, because we have a lot of people that have asked us, hey, what can we do to make our voices louder? What can we do to fight the fight? What can we do to make a difference? And we put together a guide for you guys. Go check it out at 511media.co.511media.co/playbook. And if we can drop that link in the comments so they can just click on it, that'd be great. Scrolling across the banner, but it is on our website. And guys, we thank you for everything you're doing. And I want to bring our amazing guest, Kiki, to the stage with us now. So, Kiki, thank you for being here. We're excited to have this conversation. Kiki's fighting in the trenches and doing the Lord's work. Let's first talk, Kiki, about your work with Blexit and being a city coordinator and what that entails, and then we'll get into some of the frontline work you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. I'm so excited to be here. So excited for the opportunity to be a guest on your show. I love everything you guys are doing and everything you stand for. So thank you so much. So yes, Blexit. I am brand new to Blexit. I just joined in June of this year. Super excited about it. I'm a city coordinator in the state of Ohio. Blexit is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are the largest minority conservative group in America. We are under the Turning Point umbrella, and we have over 20,000 grassroots warriors. We get out into the community. Our mission is to just encourage the mainly the Black community, minorities, to get out and vote and just to have pride in being an American citizen. We do all sorts of organizations. We partner with organizations like churches. Like I'm partnering with my church coming in October to do a trunk or treat. We also do back to school drives where we'll give out backpacks and just talking to people in the community. Ways to get involved. Let's say you don't have time to volunteer like I do to go to events and tabling events. You can just sign up to get emails and we'll let you know events that we're going to be at. And then you could just come to those events as a supporter. Follow us on YouTube, on Instagram. We're on all the platforms. And just be kind of a supporter and getting the word out by word of mouth. If you want to like actually volunteer, you can be a city coordinator like me, where we go. I mean, they just sent me to Detroit this past weekend and we did a concert. They did a free concert and all we did was register people to vote if they wanted to. Obviously, you can't incentivize, if you register to vote, you can come to this concert. That's illegal. But we said, they're coming to the concert. Do you want to register to vote? Have you changed your address in the last year? So just getting out there this election year is very important. So just getting out there in the community and letting people know that they have a voice. We can have any political affiliation join our platform. It does not matter if you're independent, Republican, or Democrat. All people are welcome to join our platform. We do not support or endorse any candidate. You are allowed to think independently. That is the main thing. We want you to think for yourself. And I absolutely love it. Meeting like-minded individuals. I have just been blown away by the connections and the friendships that I've made after joining Blexit.
That's right. And we have another event for Blexit coming up in November, which would love for you guys to go to. And we know they're doing events all the time, nearly every week. But we got the Blexit Night of Faith in Tampa. Topher's going to be there, and there's going to be a whole bunch more people. Topher was with us in Philadelphia. Missed you there, Kiki. But
yes.
We were there. We were live streaming. We were doing some videos, some other stuff, and we'll continue to drop those interviews for you guys to watch here. We got some coming up this week, in fact.
And I'll be there. I'll be at this event too.
Okay, so you didn't go to the one right next to your hometown, but you're going to the one that's all the way across the country from you.
I know. I was at a Green Bay game that weekend with my family. It was planned months in advance, so I'm a Packers fan.
I saw that video. I saw your Green Bay recap video. That was cool.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wisconsin, another battleground state for us, right?
Yes.
But guys, go there, check it out. If we got the link to sign up for that, you guys please drop it in the comments. Please drop the Blexit link so they can sign up for the emails that Kiki was mentioning. But we also have we got some videos from Kiki that I want to play because you're doing some great things on social media. You're fighting the fight with us. Do we have guys the video, the first video, Kiki talking about just kind of waking up?
If you plan on voting in the upcoming election, I need you to stop everything you're doing and watch this video. I don't care if you're voting for Kamala, Trump, or writing somebody's name on the ballot. This is important. Now that I have your attention, please do not listen to what you hear on the mainstream media whatsoever. CNN, MSNBC, NBC, and yes, even Fox News will lead you astray. I'm sorry to tell you, it's just facts. You are better off trusting independent content creators. And even with that, write down what they say and research it for yourself to form your own opinion and check their facts. Everybody is human. They do not get it right all the time. So double check just to be safe. My suggestion is to go onto TikTok. I know. Hear me out. Go on to TikTok Live. Follow people that host debates that have both sides up and they listen and hear each party out. I'm not being biased, but my lives tend to do that just a little bit. And honestly, write down notes. When they say, Kamala was the border czar, or Trump had this tax bill, whatever it is, write it down. Go to DuckDuckGo, not Google. Do not go to Google. Go to DuckDuckGo and do your own research about what they are talking about. That is the best way to pick who you want to vote for. And I am coming from a genuine place when I say this, because I voted for Barack Obama twice solely based on the color of his skin. And I'm hoping that I can enlighten other people to vote based on policies and not based on skin color, not based on personality, not based on creating history, to literally look at the policies and vote for who you think is best based on policies solely and alone. All right, so I'm curious though, in the comments, are there any search sites that you use other than DuckDuckGo to do your own research? Do you have another method that you recommend other than what I said to do your own research? Curious minds are inquiring, and I want to know, what do you do to do your own research? Obviously, we can't trust the mainstream media whatsoever. Let me know in the comments.
I love that you're promoting free thinking.
Yes.
Kiki, because that's really what we need. Because, and I agree with you, and I've been calling out Fox News, which everyone's like, oh, go watch Fox News. I've been calling out Fox News for 4 years now.
Yes.
And they're just pretending, you know, they're like the Republicans and Democrats, the same uniparty system. They like to pretend like they're one thing. They're not. Guys, you want to get the truth, you got to go check out independent media, independent podcasters, independent streamers. Guys, real quick shout out to Itamar, Reels Twin, Brock. Thank you guys for being here. And yes, Brock, Fox News is fake news. Agreed. And I've been saying that for at least 4 years now. And I got family that's like, well, you know, Fox, they got the, it's like, yeah, there's some people on there, but they are very heavily censor what these people say. So yep. even if you agree with some of them, you know, we know CNN is the communist news network, and we know MSNBC is like very obviously leftist. However, many people that we know, that we surround ourselves with, I wouldn't say the people that are necessarily watching this right now, but the people that are close friends and family, they might be conservative, but they're like, oh, we watch Fox News. Fox News still has an agenda, and it's being run by leftist corporations and organizations. And so, we gotta wake up and get the other people around us to wake up. But Kiki, like, what was it that caused you to go from voting identity politics, ideologies, to waking up and knowing, okay, well, I don't want to vote for Kamala because she's black, and I don't want to vote for her because she's a woman, and I want to vote for who's supporting the things that I care about, and I'm sure part of that has to do with the fact that you're a mother. I don't know how long you've been. You about a 9-year-old, is that right?
10.
10. Okay, so at least 10 years that I know of, and you may have older children. I don't know, but I know that we're right around the same. My oldest is 11, and I think when you become a parent, it causes you to think about things more. But what was that journey like for you to go from voting identity politics to, oh, I don't agree with anything that man says?
Yeah, so I always say, I think I was already a conservative. I just didn't know it. It's like I had to figure it out after realizing. So I was an uninformed voter. The first time I voted for Barack Obama. That was my first time ever. I think I was 18 or 19. I can't remember the exact age. And I didn't look into any of his policies. I didn't even watch Fox News. Like, that's how uninformed I was. I just knew that this is my first time voting, and there was a black man running for president, and I wanted to make history. That's all I cared about. The second time, I watched a little bit of Fox News, so I did have the brainwashing of, okay, no, sorry, not Fox News. I watched CNN. I watched more news networks that were on his side, more favorable to him, and just seeing that he said he wanted to promote unity. He said he wanted change. I was like, yes, like, this is exactly what we need. So voted for him again. And then in 2016, I was like, okay, maybe I should stop just voting based on the looks of the person, the personality, and actually dig into it and be an informed voter. And I think that kind of just came along with growing up. Like, you know, you're young, you're dumb, you make mistakes. So just growing up more and being like, I probably should actually pay attention to what is going on in this world. So I did research on Trump and Hillary, and I was like, based on the two, I like everything that Trump stands for. And I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-life. I am a Christian. I think life starts at conception, and life is extremely valuable. So that is like my number one reason for being a conservative. And then obviously right now, the reason why I continue is the border. I mean, it's out of control. We allow approximately 1 million people to come in legally every single year. It's a slap in the face to just allow all these undocumented people to come in when there's actually a process to go through to come in legally. So a lot of the things that I was seeing, the nuclear family, conservatives are all about the nuclear family. I've been married for 13 years now. And the Bible tells us that man and woman are to come together and raise a family together. That is the best way to raise a family. I grew up without a dad in my life until the age of 14 when my mom married my stepdad. And it devastates you as a girl trying to find your identity. I found my identity in other men. So just everything the conservative side stands for is kind of came to light. I was like, oh, I'm not a Democrat. What am I thinking? I just did that just because, and going with the flow, or doing what your friends are doing or doing what you're thinking is cool. And I do what I do now on social media because I'm hoping that maybe just one person will hear my story and be like, oh, I'm doing the exact same thing. Maybe I should look into the policies and not do the personality. Because like I said in my video, I go on live TikTok live, and people come up all the time still. And they're like, well, I'm voting for Kamala because she's not Trump. I'm like, don't do that. Like, I understand sometimes Trump has word vomit. Sometimes we don't like the way he speaks, but don't vote based on that. So I'm hoping that I can be the change. At least, like I said, if I can get one person to change their mind, like, I feel like my job is done.
Yeah. Amen. And Kiki, that is awesome. We love that. We love what you're doing. And you know, the stances you're taking, you're not just talking about it, you're doing it on social media, but you're actually working on the front lines, like we talked about earlier with Blexit and the other things. And you know, you're thinking about running for office too, right?
Yes. Okay. So I'm new to all of this. Like I tell everybody I'm new, but just seeing after COVID, them trying to force vaccines down our throats, I'm like, I need to do something. Like, I don't want to just sit and talk about it. I want to do something. So yes, I plan on running for school board first, trying to get my toes wet. I care about, obviously, parents' rights, getting my toes wet into politics, kind of an easier entrance into politics, so to say. So that election is November of 2025. After that, my husband and I have talked about running for mayor of Talmadge. I said House of Representatives. My husband suggested mayor. So I don't know. I'm definitely doing something in the next 4 to 8 years in that regard. I'm still praying for guidance from God on what I need to do, because obviously everything I'm doing, I want to glorify his name first and foremost. So I got some time. So I'm going to pray about it and decide exactly what path I want to take, but definitely something.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're going to support you however we can in that too, Kiki. So
thank you.
Also, as we're going, as always, you guys are out there, Amber, Brock, guys, and the rest of you listeners and viewers, we do this live. So if you guys have questions you want to ask Kiki or me, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll make sure to highlight them and bring them up. If you're on Kiki's platforms, I cannot see your questions, but Kiki can pay attention and check for that as well. But guys, we're excited to have Kiki here. We're excited to talk about the things we're talking about. But one of the biggest fights Kiki's in right now is with the schools, and especially over there in Ohio. But we know if you're with me and you're in California, we've seen this stuff being pushed down our kids' throats for a long time. And I got another video from Kiki that we want to play that kind of talks about this, and then we'll go into it.
This can be so discouraging as a parent. Like, it is so hard to stand up for your children. All right. So as you guys know, I'm going to fight with my school right now over the curriculum that they are providing to our children. Our superintendent just sent out a letter to everybody in the district about my video. Now, like I said in my update, they aren't showing that video specifically to my 5th grade daughter. I was mistaken in that regard. However, in the letter that he just sent out, it is so disingenuous to me, because it seems as if he's trying to just reassure parents that, oh, everything's okay, you have nothing to worry about. He also put nothing in the letter letting parents know that there was a miscommunication due to them not letting us know exactly what videos they plan on showing our children. They don't put that in there. They just reference Amaze.com and Amaze Jr. That's it. That's all we have to go off of. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they are even willing to use Amaze, given the material that is on their website. My husband disagrees, so I'm having a hard time, and I want to ask you guys what you think. He thinks this is just too big of a fight to try to get Amaze out of the school altogether, and I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. My daughter is going to have to deal with this in 6th, 7th, 8th grade because they are still using Amaze. Let me show you just another video that I found on the Amaze website.
Some states allow young people to decide on their own if an abortion is right for them, with no parental involvement. Research your state's laws to better understand your rights. Abortion can be controversial, and it's something the United States has been debating for a long time. In fact, some people feel so strongly about people not having abortions that there are places called crisis pregnancy centers. There are fake clinics that exist only to try to talk a person out of having an abortion. They look and sound like real abortion clinics, so make sure you ask if they provide the services you need and want before you go to one of these fake clinics by mistake.
They are actively encouraging girls to get ABs and to not trust pregnancy centers that can guide them in a different direction. Another thing, at the bottom of the superintendent's letter, there was a link to an Ohio code, okay, about education. I'm going to put that on the screen right now as well. I am wondering, is this some sort of loophole that we could get Amaze taken down? I'm not a lawyer. I need help in this regard. Because if you look at this line right here, such instruction and information provided shall not be connected in any way to any individual, entity, or organization that provides, promotes, counsels, or makes referrals for abortion or abortion-related services. This is the Ohio Section 3313.60 prescribed curriculum. So I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. So if somebody could please send this to a lawyer that could help me out. I'm getting discouraged because of that letter. Because my husband, and no fault of his own, he's more of a realist when it comes to this type of stuff. So I'm trying to see, my question is, am I going too far by trying to get Amaze out of the school whatsoever?
Thank you, Darius. So, Kiki, where are we at now?
Oh my
that's
goodness.
A little bit of an older video. Like a week or two old.
Yes. So that was a very emotional time. Like I had literally just met with them. They sent out that email and they just make it seem as if it's no big deal. Don't listen to what she has to say because it got so much traction and they were so afraid of it. So my husband supports me 1,000%. I want to say that, but he is more of the type that's like, babe, this is a huge fight. Do we want that stress in our life? Is it worth it? And I'm like, yes, let's go. Like, let's fight this fight. So we've talked more and he is on board and he wants to fight with me. It's just, it's hard. It's hard. It can be hard on a couple. So, as of right now, I had my meeting with the superintendent, the health teacher, and the curriculum executive. That was on September 17th that I had the meeting last week. Some good things came out of it. They did say that they agree that they need to update the curriculum. They're going to put in the syllabus exactly every video from Amaze they plan on showing the child, depending on what grade they're in. So I thought that was a huge success. And then they also, on the permission slip that they send home, it doesn't say that you can opt out. So some parents may not even know that you are allowed to opt out of the health class whatsoever. And in the meeting, I said that to him. I'm like, can we add the opt out option on the permission slip? And he's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like he pushed back hard. He said, because I don't want children to miss out on this. And I'm just so passionate. And I just really think every child should know. And I said, yeah, but nonetheless, parents should know that they have the option to opt out. And the curriculum advisor, she butted in and said, you know, she's right. We should put that on there. But he did not want to put that on there whatsoever. So that's another update that they're going to be doing. So that makes me, it makes me happy that they're willing to listen and they are willing to take some of my feedback in that regard. So I do want to commend them on that. So those were two things that he's going to get back to me on. Another thing, I asked them, okay, so if children do opt out, what does that look like? He has to get back to me. He hasn't yet. Like I said, I talked to them on the 17th. He hasn't yet to send me what the curriculum looks like if they do opt out. So there is 2 opt-out options. He said you can do alternative work that's like health related, or you can just say no health class whatsoever. You'll do PE, art, music, other things along those lines. But yes, he's still supposed to be sending me the curriculum for opt-out. And then also he gave me a sheet. I have it right here that I'm looking at. He gave me a sheet for the basic outline for sex health from 5th grade all the way till 8th grade. And on there, it mentions things like the Google Docs and the slides and different things. And I said in the meeting, okay, I need access to all of this stuff. I want to see exactly what you are showing the children. I am entitled to that. So for parents that don't know, you are allowed to see exactly everything they plan to teach your child. If they give you pushback, you push right back to them. And if you have to say you're going to get a lawyer, you do it, because you have a right as a parent to know everything they are teaching you. And they will try to gaslight you and make it seem as if you don't and slow walk it, but you do have the right. I just want to make sure we put that out there. So I'm waiting on them to get back to me. Like I said, it's been since the 17th. So we'll see if they get back to me with everything, because I plan on doing update videos as they get back to me with more and more information. I have so much information on this, Mike. I am like so passionate and fired up. I could talk for hours on this topic.
Well, it's completely bonkers, guys, what's going on out there. And I want to show for our audience to see some of the videos, because some of these videos are so crass and so crude for them to be showing to our children that I wouldn't even state the titles in our pre-interview call in front of 2 women, but they're showing these to our children, and they think that this is okay. Can we bring up some of these, Darius, so we can see this? Okay, that's fine. So how do we properly put on a condom? How do I use a we're gonna post these on our social media too, if we can drop these guys in there. But there's a bunch of stuff in here about gender ideology. Go ahead and bring up the next one. I'm having a hard time reading the titles, but this top one I'm not even gonna read. But it's something very sexual. That is wildly inappropriate for our children to be seeing, and I don't care if they're a senior in high school. In my opinion, they shouldn't be watching this kind of crap, and I wouldn't be okay with my kids seeing it. This is one of the reasons, especially in California, that we homeschool our kids, because California is so woke, so off the rails, and we live in a red area, but it's still. And I have family members that are in the school system that agree with most of the things that I say, but they're being forced to do it. And even in the homeschool system, I don't know if we talked about this before, Kiki, but even in the homeschool system, like they're forcing this ideology. They're like, you have to teach these things, and we're like, well, at least as parents, like we can do this in a age appropriate way, and we control the dialogue, we control the conversation. But they're forcing these ideologies through standardized testing and other means, and like it's just absolutely crazy, like what they want our children to know about at 9, 10, 11 years old.
Even 5. One of the videos I posted, it says Amaze Jr. It says it's recommended for ages 5 and up, and what it says is the kid goes, "Oh, what is an erection?" And the lady, the adult comes on and says, "Can I not say that? I'm sorry." Will I get in trouble for saying that word?
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be saying that to a 5-year-old, to a 10-year-old.
Yes,
like
I worry because our freedom of speech is limited on these social media platforms, so it's always hard to speak. So, what is that? And the adult comes on and says, "Oh, it's perfectly normal, and you can touch it when you're in the privacy of your own home, and girls can do the same thing." 5 years old, that's what it was recommended for. That is so disgusting.
Yeah, and I have a 6-year-old, and he's still his speech is still developing, and we're trying to, and what is that, kindergarten? Mm-hmm. Kindergarten, we're teaching children what an erection is, what self-love is, and I won't use the word, they're actually using the word, but all of these and gaslighting parents like Kiki. and others, because we know that there's many others that are out there that are in this fight in the trenches. But gaslighting parents like us, like Kiki, that are taking a stand against this, and at the same time making parents feel like they don't have a choice, right?
Yep. And it's just trust us. We have your child's best interest at heart. Trust us. So I also wanted to add on there, when I was in the meeting, I asked them, I said, so do you have to use Amaze? Is it state funded? No, it's not state funded. Is it federally funded? It's federally recommended. That was what they said. So I'm like, okay, so yeah, I mean, just pretty much say, yes, you guys are using it because the federal government, I don't want to say that for 1,000%, but I'm sure they get paid. They have, in order to get federal funding, they have to use these programs. He did say, I'd be willing to use a different program, but I haven't found anything that's better. So I plan on doing research to present to the school board. Look, I found a better option. If more parents agree with this, can we switch over? I don't know if that'll happen because, like he said, it's federally recommended.
Mm-hmm. But Kiki, we're in this fight with you. So however we can support you, we want to do that. And something
Absolutely.
You said earlier, and I think it's so important that as a parent, both parents are on the same page, and that you have a supportive partner. And we know that there's people out there that are, don't have a choice. They're in single parent homes and all this stuff. And, our heart goes out to you, and we want to provide resources and support to you guys as much as we can. But, I was having a talk with my wife last night, and we had a real great chat. And something my wife said to me that I think is important for you to hear too, Kiki, and for all of you guys out there to hear. When you're facing opposition, when you're pushing and you're in the middle of God's will and you're doing the work of the Lord, you're facing that opposition, that's one of the ways you're on the right track. Because the more you push, the more you try to promote the will of the Lord, the more you try to bring back biblical Christian values into the household and into your lives, the more opposition you're going to face. But when you face that opposition, just know that there's a very good chance that you're on the right track. So it's so important, Kiki, to have that partner that is going to encourage you. And I'm glad to hear that your husband is on board with you. And I didn't use that video to fault your husband in any way.
Oh, yeah.
But I understand, seeing both sides of that. But in doing that, I want to support you. And 511 wants to support you in this fight, in this cause, however we can. We want to talk about that too. So what do you need?
Oh man, right now. So my goal is to work on a petition just to kind of start and see in the community which people, or if they support it. Like, do you want to get rid of Amaze? Like, am I just doing this all on my own? I've had a lot of people already, a lot of moms reach out to me from the Talmadge area, say like, I support you 1,000%. I didn't even realize it. I signed that permission slip, not even thinking twice. Thank you so much for opening my eyes. And I am with you if you get a petition started. So I think that's the first step, getting the petition started. I got to gather more information from the school. So I guess just following, watching my videos, staying up to date. Eventually I'm going to, like I said, I'm running for school board. So I'm going to get my campaign funding up and running. I'm working on getting everything set up. This is all brand new. I just decided to run for school board after all of this has happened. So I'm trying to read up on what I need to do in my area. So just kind of, I guess, supporting me and watching my videos as of right now. And then once I get my campaign up, if you can donate anything would be helpful. So I appreciate any support I can get.
Yeah, what's your social media so we can make sure and drop it in the comments here?
It's Kiki Fuchser everywhere. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere.
All right. So team, if you're out there watching, if you could drop her stuff on all of our channels, that'd be great. But where's the petition, Kiki?
I haven't started it yet. I'm working on it.
Okay, so we want to share that out to our audience when you get it. So make sure to send it directly to me or Renata or both of us. Okay. Ideally, we're going to support you in that as well. But let's talk about how that's developed, because I know you're super passionate about this. So let's talk about your interactions with the school board and all that.
Okay. Yeah. So I had my meeting with like I said, the superintendent and everything on the 17th. I went in there. I have notes galore. I wrote down notes and then I also recorded it. So for those of you guys that don't know, in Ohio, it's a one-party consent. So I did record them and you are allowed to post the content. I checked this before I did it, but I didn't tell them that I was recording. I wanted them to be authentically themselves. I wanted them to not hold anything back. And I want to show everybody what we talked about. Like, I'm not afraid to post little snippets of what I talked about. So like I said, I recorded the whole thing. I'm working on update videos. I have one update video out there. The entire thing was 54 minutes. So it's a lot of information to go through and to kind of show you guys everything that we talked about. So I am working on that. So stay tuned. Let's see. One of the things that was kind of eye-opening to me is I asked all three of them and the principal of my daughter's school, did you guys know the videos that were on Amaze, the video that I posted? And all three of them had no idea that that was on there. And I'm like, you guys are the gatekeepers to our children's. Like, how do you not know what is on the Amaze website? And I'm like, maybe they knew, but they just don't care. I don't know if they don't care, but apparently they didn't know. It's like you said, the trans, the gender ideology, all of this stuff is confusing to our children. So that was kind of alarming to me that they didn't know this was on their website. Another thing I asked was, do you teach transgenderism in schools? And their answer was, no, it's not in the curriculum. But if a child asks a question, the door is wide open. They can talk about it as much as they want. And I said, even in 5th grade? Yep. Even in 5th grade, if a child has a question, we can talk about it once they bring it up. So I'm like, how do we know they aren't encouraging them to bring it up? How do we know that it's not being manipulated?
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
What was their attitude about that when you asked about it, Kiki?
Nonchalant. If it's brought up, we can talk about it as much as we want. As we want to encourage curiosity. We want children to feel open to talk about what they want with us. So they were nonchalant. Just, we can talk about it if it comes up. So it's like, maybe they're not as woke as California, but they are in the sense of they will talk about it if children are curious. And children are so curious. I mean, it's everywhere right now. If they go on YouTube, they can hear about it and then bring it up in class. And there we go. They're talking about it. But they're sneaky because they don't put it in the curriculum. So that's how I feel like they get around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there's something that I know about schools also is, even in California, if a child brings up about prayer or a child brings up God, they can talk about that as well. They open the door for that. And the children can lead a prayer in the classroom.
That's awesome.
The teacher can't actively promote that in a public school system. They can't actively open the door about it. But if the child opens the door, they can talk about it. So this works both ways, guys.
That's good.
So that, the other thing is, as some of our kids are in public school systems, and I think Kiki's one of those who, correct me if I'm wrong, Kiki, but you feel like your family is called to be in the public school system. And not all of us are. Some of us, like I feel like for us, our calling is to be in the homeschool. But you guys are making a difference in the public school system. And we had this conversation because you could send your kids to private school. You could do homeschooling, but you're choosing intentionally to put them in the public school. But for those of you who are that, and Kiki, if you want to talk to this too. Encourage your kids. Hey, bring up about God. Bring up about biblical values, because they're not all of the teachers are in this woke ideology. Some of them are just forced to talk about this stuff, and they don't want to.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So this is why I love doing what I'm doing, because you can meet so many people and just learn so many different perspectives. So I definitely will encourage her to do that, to make sure she can let her know that she has a voice and she's allowed to do that. So it's an excellent point. A lot of people reached out and was like, well, why don't you just pull your kid out of school, homeschool, don't even worry about it. And I'm like, no, what about the babies that can't be homeschooled? What about the kids that they're, like you said, single moms, single dads that can't homeschool, that have to work and have to put their kids in public school? I'm like, why isn't the solution to fix the public school system versus just taking all of our kids out? Like, I know, like we said, it's hard, but if we all come together, all the American people, we are a force to be reckoned with. Like, we can make change happen. I don't know, protesting, like I said, petitions, all of these things. So I think I am, like you said, called to keep her in public schools and just continue to fight, get on the school board, continue to stay involved and fight for the public school system to get better. I think that's the better solution.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I don't think that the fight is too big. I think that it's worth fighting for. Our children's future is worth fighting for. Our public institutions are worth fighting for, even though they've become so corrupt and frankly gone off a cliff in this regard for, you know, a long time. And you're in an area that is more, Ohio's more purplish, right? And you're, you know, California is definitely like deep blue, like the color of my background blue here. But you know, we're also in a red city, or you know, it's becoming purple because of California. Like we got people moving in from the north and the south into where we live. But you know, what is the climate like where you are, Kiki?
So we're right outside of Akron, 10 minutes from Akron, and Akron is definitely completely blue. We are fairly conservative, I say, but I guess things have been changing because my neighbor across the street, he's lived here for 25 years. My husband and I have only been in the Talmadge area since 2023, and he was like, this is not normal. There's Harris signs like popping up all over the yard. He messaged us and was like, have you guys noticed all these Harris signs? And we're like, oh yeah, we just figured it was like kind of normal. We're new here. And he's like, no, this is not normal. So I think it's just like you, people are moving maybe from Akron over to this side because it is better schooling, which is why we picked Talmadge, because it was supposed to be better schooling. But yeah, we're starting to be a little purplish too, I'm noticing. And our mayor is a Democrat. So I think, like you said, it's starting to slowly spread. People are moving from the big cities into more of the suburbs.
Yeah. And what's crazy is the reason why they're moving away from the big cities is to get away from this garbage, and yet they're bringing it with them. Like, hey, we don't like this stuff, so let's move over here and make it the same. And it just blows my mind. So, you know, Kiki, what is the average parent that may be out there watching to do when they're you know in this type of situation? They're like, I don't have I don't have the resources to homeschool. I don't have the resources to send my kid to private school. I'm in a single parent home or whatever. What would be your recommendations for them?
Your voice. Literally use your voice. You have a right to free speech. You can talk to anybody within the chain of command, the principal, the superintendent, the school board. Take it up as high as you can. The state school board. Do not let them silence you. So if you see something that you don't like, something that you don't agree with, if you don't speak up about it, they'll never know. Just like in a marriage, like they can't read your mind, so they won't know. So just don't be afraid to use your voice and to stand up for what you believe in. Our children are precious. They literally are children. Let them be children until they are adults. All of this stuff they can learn when they are adults, and they will be just fine. So I just encourage you to link up with other parents as well. There is power in numbers. So get other parents that agree with you in your school district, like I'm doing. Like I had all those messages, and I'm linking up with them to say, okay, what can we do together? Like you said, encourage prayer. Pray about everything you do. Pray before you do anything, because there is power in prayer. There is power in the name of Jesus. I literally cannot say that enough. So just using your voice, they cannot silence us.
That's right. That's right. Amen, Kiki. And guys, it's parents like Kiki and like all of you out there watching that take that power back, because they gave us the First Amendment for a reason. Right. And Kiki, I know you fought or maybe you didn't fight, but you were enlisted in the Marines, and you were that the reason why your First Amendment was one of the biggest things that military was protecting, right, is our freedoms as American citizens. And guys, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because there's more people that agree with you than probably disagree with you, especially when it comes to protecting our children. And the school, like Kiki said, is going to gaslight you. They're going to try to tell you, oh, you're wrong, or we're not doing those things, or lie to you, or whatever they got to do. But they're manipulating our children, and Kiki, this is the stuff that makes me angry, and the reason, it's the reason why we do what we do at 511, because somebody's got to raise the voices. Yep.
Yeah. And I want to add one more thing. I was just looking at my notes. Another way that you can get involved is, in my school, you are allowed to sit in the classroom. So for the health class, I asked them, how does the process work if I want to sit in the classroom and just hear exactly what you guys are saying, hear exactly how you are teaching the children. Here in my area, they say you need a 24-hour written notice. So you just email them and let them know I want to sit in the class. I said, okay, is there a limit? Like, how many times am I allowed to sit in the class? the superintendent did push back and say, well, we don't like to have parents sitting in the class all the time because it can change the dynamic of the classroom. And I'm like, I don't care. So like we said, don't let them gaslight you. You do have a right to sit in the classroom and just listen, take notes, see what they're talking about. And you can do it as often as you want. Do not let them deter you. Do not let them scare you from standing up and doing what you know is right.
Yeah, guys. And if you guys reach out to Kiki, you reach out to me, whatever state you're in, we're gonna give you as much resources as we can. Yeah. Some of the organizations that we're connected with have resources for you guys as well. And this is something we're going to continue to fight. Something 511 is going to continue to take a stand against, because the future of our children, they're being indoctrinated through media. They're being indoctrinated through our celebrities. They're being indoctrinated through the school system, and these woke ideologies it's changing the future, the trajectory, the direction of our country. And as we do that, we're seeing evil continue to take over, and this upcoming election is pivotal for our country. It's one of the most important elections that we've ever had. And if you think, oh, well, I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday and who was telling me about a family member of theirs, and their family was like, oh, isn't it cool that we might have a woman president for the first time in our life? And they were completely oblivious to whatever this woman stood for. And I think that that's one of the biggest things is she hasn't come out and done a press conference. She had to be, when she did an interview with Oprah, she had to be rescued on that interview. But she's hiding, just like Joe Biden did, and it worked for Joe Biden, at least on paper, because we all believe that there was some malfeasance that happened in that election. But if you guys don't expect there to be malfeasance in this election, then you guys are delusional, because the same thing that they try to pull, the same thing they did successfully pull in 2020, they're trying to pull in 2024, except for people are more aware of it. People are more awake to it. And so, Kiki, what are you doing in regards to the upcoming election to make a difference and make an impact? And I know some of that's through Blexit, but what else? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm working with Blexit 1,000% on this. Like I said, I was in Detroit. We were registering people to vote. Anywhere I'm at, if I'm just at a carnival or I'm in line, I try to talk to as many people as I can. I go around and I wear Trump stuff because it allows people to ask questions. People see you and they're like, oh, you're willing to support Trump like publicly? Yes, I want to talk to you and just get an understanding, having the conversations. I go live on TikTok and I host debates. I have both parties come up. You can have 6 people on your panel. I have 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and just have you sit down and talk it out. So that way we don't have so much division within America, because you can change hearts and minds that way. I've had a guy come on my platform and he said, I've been watching you and I'm a Democrat, but I'm starting to slowly shift and rethink things because of what you've been saying. So I'm doing the best I can to be out here in the community, for one, and then on social media, because it's such a big platform. It sucks that we have to be careful how we speak on TikTok and on these platforms. Our free speech is under attack 1,000%, but I'm doing the best I can out there with hosting the live debates. That's one of my favorite things that I do on TikTok.
Yeah, that's awesome. I joined one of your lives the other day that you were doing. I would like to continue to do that. Do you do those regularly, Kiki, by the way?
Yeah, I usually go live on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The rest of the time is my family time. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday evenings, usually around 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, so 4 p.m. Pacific.
Yep.
I'm gonna be on there with you in the future,
awesome.
Join in that conversation. But you were talking about abortion the other day, and I remember, and I think it was this past week, maybe or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that was a really good conversation you were having. And the thing is, just take that as an issue, right? Yes, Brock, definitely check her out. But abortion as an issue is something that they try to hide the truth on so much.
Yeah.
And if I feel like some of the videos, like you shared that, and I was like, can I share that on my show, or can I not share that on my show? It's so graphic, guys. But let's go ahead and roll the video that Kiki had about abortion, because I think it's important that people are awake about this stuff.
Remember when smoking used to be all the rave and all the cool kids were doing it? For all you youngins out there, you used to go to a restaurant and they would ask you, smoking or non? And you got to decide which section you wanted to sit in. Now, you could still smell it permeating throughout the entire restaurant, even if you picked the non-smoking section. But it used to be acceptable in society. Everybody was doing it. Everywhere you went, there was smoking. Even the advertising supported smoking. Look at these images. Even doctors were supporting smoking. It took a good 40 years for people to wake up and realize how horrible smoking is for them. Now the imagery, now the commercials have all changed. We all have seen this commercial where the lady has the voice box and she can't speak and she has the hole in her throat. Now we see bad negative imagery showing us how terrible smoking is. I feel we need the exact same situation when it comes to abortions. We need the imagery to be in their faces so they can see exactly what they're doing, like this video right here. Since they seem to think abortion is no big deal, since they seem to think it's just a clump of cells, how about we have billboards with this type of imageries, commercials on every channel, YouTube, TikTok, showing exactly what an abortion does to a baby. Side note, can we stop calling it reproductive rights? Everybody has a right to reproduce. Reproduction happens when the sperm and the egg meet. So therefore, unaliving your baby is not a right to reproduce. Other thing, I understand that politics are kind of like a marriage. You have to be willing to compromise. So in a perfect world, we would outlaw abortion, except for incest, you know, the 1% of things that people want to argue for. I think on top of that, we should also give out free morning after pills, federally funded. Everywhere you go, you can get a free morning after pill. While I think life happens at conception and you still are technically getting rid of your baby, I understand that things happen, that we, like I said, have to compromise in life. So that should be the alternative. If you have an go the next day. You have 3 days to say, oh crap, I made a mistake. Oh crap, the condom broke. Whatever the issue is, and go get a free morning after pill. What do my pro-lifers think about that? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you think of the comparison of smoking to the abortion ads. Do you agree or do you disagree?
I can tell from watching your content, by the way, I just noticed this, that you've had some of your content taken down for misinformation too, just like we have.
Yep, or not using the correct wordage, unaliving. You have to use grape. Like, you can't speak normal. It's so hard. I've had to learn by getting my videos taken down, by getting strikes that, okay, I can't say this, I can't say that. So yeah, it's ridiculous.
So you know what's crazy about that is I wondered this the other day, and I almost wanted to post a poll, a question. But do you think that the liberals get the same kind of treatment, misinformation, and all that on social media when they talk about I don't think so either. I see you shaking your head because like the things that they talk about shouldn't be allowed, and yet they're pushing them like it's just common knowledge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg came out and said that he censored us during COVID-19. See, I'm about to say CV-19. During COVID, because you can't say that on TikTok. So during COVID, he censored us. So absolutely, they didn't want anybody to not get the jab. If you were saying don't get the jab, they were going to censor you. So absolutely, I don't know what it is about the left. I guess it's just because they have so many big people supporting them. Like you said in the beginning, the guy said in the beginning of the video, they just have such a big support that they feel invincible. They literally feel like nothing can stop them.
Yeah. Well, and then the crazy thing is you see the videos from the red pill liberals that have come out and said, anytime you disagree with anything or even ask questions, they're going to cancel you.
Yep.
So they don't. What's crazy is they tell us every day, be open-minded, consider things, but they're not open-minded. What they're really saying is think the way we think, and that's it.
Yep. And if you don't, then you're shunned from the community. You're canceled. I get the most hate from liberals that look like me because I think differently than them. And they're big and bad on social media. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, because I don't think they would be the same if we were in person and face to face, which is why I do the live debates that I host, because it makes them more human when you're actually talking to somebody versus being behind a screen and just typing whatever you think and whatever you comes to mind, because it's harder to say that to somebody's face. So.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy the comments we get, right? Because I get it, and they talk so much trash, but they're all just keyboard warriors. At the end of the day, guys, like don't back down, don't be afraid. Make sure you go follow Kiki on social media. We dropped her handles in the comments. Make sure you go check out our election strategy playbook also, guys, that will give you resources and tools. And I want to bring up a couple quick comments from Renata here. Number one, abortion is murder. 100% yes. Jeremiah 1:5, New International Version. Before I formed you in my womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. And the second one, I survived. I can't agree with any abortion pill or procedure. It's not the baby's fault for the parents' responsibility. Yeah, 100% agree with that too. And I'll let you respond to that, because I think that was in response to something you had said, Kiki. So
yeah. So I'm always curious, because the morning after pill, it prevents the conception from happening. So I always wonder if pro-lifers are for that, because it's at least not unaliving a baby. So I'm curious. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. So, guys, you can answer that in the comments, but thank you for watching. As always, have a great day. God bless.